Yes, Man United in the past have done amazing things, but game to game, 90-90, this is the most dominant team in Prem history. Welcome back to FTBL Culture. It's your boy CultureCams. Listen, the same things are happening every single week, and that's Manchester City winning again and Erling Haaland scoring again. So I'm gonna get into a topic which for me is massively important. Are Manchester City the greatest Premier League side of all time? I'm gonna go through my top 4 and I'll let you guys decide in the comments. But make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on so you can stay in touch with this amazing content. Let's get into this. First and foremost, I'm gonna give you guys a disclaimer. I have to give a disclaimer because I don't wanna see the old heads in my comment. Listen, I'm an OG of this game, I'm a veteran. However, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was studying the 99 United cycle. So, just for a heads up, the treble winning team will not be in this categories. I'm sorry, they just will not be. However, I can understand their achievements. Great team. We know what they did. The proof's in the puds. I don't need to get into that. Now, I'm going to get into the team that I think are absolutely incredible, deserve to be on this list, but I'll probably say are like sitting in 4th place for me. And that is the Arsenal 02 to 04 cycle. This was a team that had a bunch of 6-foot+ monsters who were so elegant on the ball as well. I'm talking Vieira, I'm talking Perez, I'm talking Henry. These guys could get on the ball and play, but in the same time, they'll fist you up. They will fist you up if they need to. This is a team that were getting red cards for fun as well. Arsene Wenger found the perfect blend between grit and, I don't even know what word to use. I was gonna say grit and grind, but that doesn't make sense. Between grit and beauty. These two were meshed perfectly with this Arsenal team. And let's start from the 02 team. They did the double, the FA Cup and the Premier League in the same season. And it was such a nice team. The maddest thing about that team is that you don't really talk about that team too much. They won the double. They're that good. But you think about the team that came after them. The Invincibles were born. And Arsene Wenger's prediction that this Arsenal team, this Arsenal core, can go unbeaten in a full season actually came true. And in my opinion, I think that is the single greatest achievement in Premier League history. That team for that season. And the reason why I say that is just to counter the people that say 12 draws, the Centurions won more, blah, 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 got more wins, got more points, is points records I've seen be broken year after year. I've seen Chelsea get 95 points, that got broken. Liverpool got 99, City got 100, one team got 97. I've seen it all with points. However, no matter what you do, no matter what record you go and do, you will always have to sit on the same table as Arsenal. So if you go and do 0 losses, it will be you and Arsenal sitting on that table forever. Simple as that. Whereas if you look at points, one day people are waxing lyrical about 95 points. Next day they're waxing lyrical about 100. One day there's going to come a team that break 100 points. And you're just going to be like, the Centurions, yeah, they were nice. But this team here, wow, this shiny new toy, they have 101. That is how it's going to be. However, with the Invincibles, no one can sit higher than 0 losses. You just can't. So I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm a United fan, and some people can say, blah, blah, blah. But that is the single greatest achievement in a domestic Premier League season that I have ever seen.
So what puts them in 4th then? If they're all so great and the Invincibles and
I'm glad you asked.
This guy and this guy.
I'm glad you asked. What puts them in 4th for me is they didn't do back-to-back. Now the teams that are coming after this is the back-to-back club. You know what I mean? I gave Arsenal a little leeway with the cute little 2 and 3. However, we're about to start getting into the back-to-back club, and I've got to say, disappointingly, Arsenal, that 2004 team losing to Chelsea, who were baby Chelsea, the little horse. They weren't ready yet. They were just developing. Losing to Chelsea and Wayne Bridge in the Champions League quarter-final when Arsenal really and truly should have won that Champions League season. That is why, unfortunately, they have to sit fourth. But I appreciate greatness, and I know Arsene Wenger's side with Henry, Perez, Bergkamp and co. is one of the greatest teams in Premier League history, hands down. And another great team in this mix is a team that actually came straight after this Arsenal invincible team, and that's the Jose Mourinho Chelsea side. We know the one I'm talking about from 04-05 to 05-06. The dominance that took place when the special one arrived is something that had never been seen before at that period. I'm talking about a team that conceded 15 goals in a whole Premier League season. That backline of Paulo Ferreira, John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, and William Gallas, it was nearly unbeatable. And then you put Peter Cech in goal. It was the definition of unbreakable. The vibe was just different. And there's something about how scary they were was just embodied by players like Drogba, John Terry, Essien, Makelele, Joe Cole, Duff, Frank Lampard. It was an unbelievable side. 25 clean sheets in 38 Premier League fixtures. In my opinion, I don't think we will ever see that particular record broken in terms of 15 goals conceded. If it does, then somebody's going to have to come slap me in the face because I do not see that happening. 15 goals. It's silly. Then you fast forward to 05-06. Chelsea again, run away with the title, 91 points. Thank you very much. One of my favorite kits, by the way. Production, make sure you put that one up there. That Umbro, that blue with the gold. I'm not beating the closet fan allegations right now. However, that team again were incredible. Same kind of players. He brought in a few. He brought in Essien, Del Horno. He brought in a few players, but the core and the same nucleus was the ones that did what they did the season before. Something that held them back though, from being the highest upper echelon, was the fact that it didn't last for longer. Jose Mourinho started having his issues with Roman Abramovich. Jose Mourinho, I think it was against Rosenborg. Chelsea drew against Rosenborg. The next thing you know, Jose was gone. And that is kind of what separates them from a Manchester City with Pep Guardiola, who's just continued. And nobody's sacking that man. And an Alex Ferguson, who just continues. That longevity is just what stops Chelsea from being on that highest level. But let's get into the other teams. Now, this is where it gets very, very juicy. And listen, I can't actually decide between these two clubs, between these two teams. They were just so good. I'm talking Man City and I'm talking Manchester United. The cycles that I'm talking about for these two teams have prolonged for such a long period of time that they have to be, in my opinion, the top two without debate. Now, I gave you guys Chelsea. I gave you guys Arsenal. If you want to debate that, debate it. If you want to add Liverpool, that's whatever you guys want to do. But for me, in this criteria now, I'm talking teams that have done back-to-back, but then they've also done 5 in 6 years, 4 in 5 years. They've done more than just back-to-back or 2 in 3 years. Man City and Man United's dominance is unparalleled. These two teams, it's like tomato, in my opinion. Small things separating them, and it can only really and truly be down to your preference. Let me get into the United one first. As I mentioned, I'm going to mention again, back-to-back club. But I got to add one more. Back-to-back club. 3-peat. Put your threes up. Put your threes up, because this team actually did the 3-peat. I mean, from 06-07 to 08-09, Manchester United won the league every single season. From the period of 06 to 2013, Manchester United won 5 Premier Leagues. Let me tell you what stopped them from winning 7. 09-10, Chelsea, Ancelotti's team that scored 103 Premier League goals. But they beat United on the final day by 1 point. 1 point separated that Ancelotti team to Manchester United's team that Rooney led after Tevez left, after Ronaldo left. 1 point. Okay, cool. You know, that happens in football. It is what it is. 11-12. 93-20. We know. Look, you know what to do. You know what to do. Aguero! Heartbreak. Goal difference. So 1 point stopped Manchester United from winning the title 7 years in a row. It is success that has never been seen before. That is pure dominance. What a team. And the only reason for me why this Manchester City team compete with them is because of one man. The arch nemesis, in a way, Pep Guardiola. I mean, he's dominated Spain. He's dominated Germany. And here he is with his ego high. Just decided, you know what? People are doubting me. You know, they keep talking. I can't play this football in this country. All right, cool. I'm just going to come to the Premier League and dominate it. That is what he has come and done. And look, the City cycle has started from 17-18. I just mentioned the Man United cycle lasted about 7 years. The City cycle has started from 17-18. And on my notes here, I have 17-18 to current. There's no cycle. It's not over. That's why it's so hard to where to place this Man City team, because we know 17-18, they did the Centurions. You know, we'll just win 32 games in a season just because we feel like it and get 100 points. We'll just score the most goals in a season ever just because we feel like it. 106 goals. Records that still stand till today. That Pep Guardiola, not even that team, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City team play the best football in Premier League history. It's a fact. In terms of actual popping the ball about, dominance, what is it? Every game that it comes out, they have 70% possession. You don't have a chance. The only way you can beat them is literally by defending with your life. And hey, who's the fast guy up there? Okay, you just boot it to him and he's going to try and get a goal for us. That is the only way. I have never seen a team, and I'm talking from 17-18 to current, I've never seen a team as dominant from game to game as Manchester City. Yes, Man United in the past have done amazing things, but game to game, 90-90, this is the most dominant team in Prem history. We're talking about squads from 1 to 23. This is the best, probably 1 to 23 squad in Prem history. Again, I've got to say. And Paul Merson summarized it perfectly. He said, well, of course City are going to win the Carabao Cup every season because their B team will get in the top 4. But the reason why this team has a little black mark on them, we know it. I don't want to bore you guys, but I got to talk about it. The Champions League. This is a Man City team that lost to Monaco, Liverpool, Lyon, Spurs, Chelsea, and Madrid. Some of those teams sound really nice, but if you actually look at them in their cycle, they were not ready. City were favourites in all of those fixtures and have not yet touched Champions League success. I'm scared it's going to happen this season with Erling Haaland. I'm scared it's going to happen. But that's the little black mark they have on their name. Every team seems to have a little black mark. As I mentioned, Arsenal, no Champions League, no back-to-back. Chelsea, no Champions League. City, no Champions League yet. The only team that doesn't have a black mark is Manchester United. So I kind of just solved my own discussion right here, right now, with who's probably at number 1. But listen, the blue moon is rising. Manchester City are coming. I'm an honest fan. I'm worried. It was so hard to go through all these great teams that have happened. And listen, I'll give respect to Liverpool, Leicester, and some of the other teams that have won it in their cycles. But I had to separate it between good and pure greatness. Guys, let me know in the comments who you think is the best Premier League team of all time. Is it already Manchester City? Is it Arsenal? Is it Chelsea? Is it United? Let me know. And do you think City will 100% end as the greatest team in history? Drop a like, drop a comment, turn your notifications on, share, subscribe. This is FTBL Culture. I'm CultureCams, and I'm out.